peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Anybody who has been in the military will understand that when at war, in war, with war, you don't court-martial your soldiers or officers while the war is on. You finish the war first and then investigate the officers or soldiers who might have misbehaved or neglected duty. This is the doctrine of the institution of war. Today, Kenya is within the war and at war with an invisible enemy called COVID-19. And we must support the efforts of the frontline officials. Then we put them on trial later if they are mistakes. Remember, the country is at the weakest link now, and we cannot afford to deflect the efforts of those soldiers on the front line of fighting COVID-19. Thank you very much, viewers. That is me. In many parts of Africa, there is always a struggle for power. Struggles for power begin from the struggles for internal democratization of our parties or units where we belong when we come to power. The politics of compensational structure, the politics of deficit, the beginning from a deficit that I had a deficit. I had a deficit before I was born, or when I was born. I found myself in a poor family. It's the politics of compensation that haunts Africa today. Many people want to take on leadership, but it's the leadership as a basis of where you came from, or the leadership has qualities.
My father bought me my first shoe in 1981 from a Mr. Onyango on the street for 60 shillings because he could not afford the butter shoes. Why am I saying this? Today, as you can see, the gentleman who did not have shoes is sitting at the high table. With the son of the founding father.
Sasa kama nitaambiwa naongea siasa, lakini I'm not, I promise. I have no such intention. But, you know, when you hear people out there, you know, they talk, oh, huyu mtu fulani, dynasty hii, sijui dynasty hii. It's not about that. Leadership is not about where you were born. It's not about where you came from. It's not about the color of your skin. It is not about your tribe. It is just about a desire to serve, a desire to do good, a desire to make a difference in the lives of people. And anybody can do that.
For a leader to be a leader, he must have qualities. Identify himself with qualities of good behavior, qualities of no corruption, qualities of no hatred, qualities of engagement, discussion with others, collective responsibility, listening to the people. These are the qualities. A leader who delivers does not need to have a background. A leader who delivers can deliver without a background of the rich or the poor. Many people in Africa seem to be misinterpreting that once you are born, you directed God to produce you in a particular family. None of us would have been where we are had we actually had a message from God where we would be born. I therefore look at this as compensational politics. Meritocracy is the answer. Meritocracy gives you the position that you yearn for. Meritocracy delivers you a position. Meritocracy gives you what you are doing for the people of Kenya or Uganda or whatever country where you are in Africa. But if you don't have these qualities, even if you are born from a family that had the whole world as theirs, then you cannot be a leader. It is therefore very important that the leaders who yearn to become leaders in Africa stop the usage of compensational politics. The politics that you want to compensate on others simply because you were poor, simply because you didn't go to a good school, simply because you don't drink in the same place where they drink, simply because you don't eat in that restaurant, simply because you don't have cars. That politics has got syndromes, traits of people who are either corrupt or have hatred or have a problem on itself. I therefore call upon you people to re-examine as Africans that wherever you come from, the background you come from, you are an African. You can deliver something for your country. You don't need to be able, you don't need to come to compensate for the lost past, because with such attitude, you will grab everything and your country will collapse. Thank you very much for listening.
Whoever heeds discipline shows the way to life. But whoever ignores correction leads others astray. That is in the Bible, Proverbs 10:17. The reason I am quoting this verse, fellow Kenyans, is because the figures that we are hearing today are a clear demonstration that things are not getting better. And people who are telling others that things are better are lying to them. And somehow, somewhere along the line, we seem to have come to the conclusion as a society that things have gone back to normal. Today's figures show things are far, far from normal. Things are very challenging. And those who are exhibiting the indiscipline that I've referred to, leading others astray, are becoming a common phenomenon.
The government of the Republic of Kenya has made efforts, concerted guidelines, and put it out to the public of the Republic of Kenya and the citizens of Kenya. Looking at the trend of what is happening and the events that are shaping around the modeling and the sample modeling of, and a comparison with other states in the world, globally Kenya has done very well. But there seems to be a culture of sliding back, a culture where people want to go back to their old habits. What destroys such an exercise? What brings it to a situation where people need to understand that it is not gone yet, it is here. The virus is here, is with us, is an invisible enemy. An invisible enemy for the people of Kenya to understand that they must help themselves, not help the government, but help themselves to fight the enemy. If we don't unite to fight the enemy, if we slide back to our habits, our behaviors, our eating pattern, our socializing pattern, our praying pattern, our stigma, fear, complacency, impunity, these are the things that are letting down Kenya and most of the parts of Africa. It is therefore my opinion, and our opinion, and the opinion of many other people who are at the forefront in fighting this disease, that the people of Kenya stand firm against the few individuals who are violating the regulations, the guidelines, the restrictions that the government has put in place. Your failure to agree or to abide by these regulations might force the government to take more drastic measures that we might not know because we are not part and parcel of the government. But as the media, we sound what the government has said. Failure to adhere to these principles and guidelines could increase the multiplication or multiply the disease, reproduce the disease in the community. The cases of Eastleigh, the cases of Mombasa, Majengo, where people still eat food in one common place as if they don't know what social distancing is. Such acts, barbaric acts, when you have been actually given the guidelines that this disease enjoys where there is company of being together, that this disease kills when you shake hands, that this disease kills when you cough without covering your arm, with the arm, that this disease can kill if you sit in a car with a person who is either a silent carrier, a passive carrier, or an active carrier. It is up to you, the people and the citizens of the country of Kenya, to adhere to Mutahi Kagwe, to listen to the Minister of Health. The cries are not very far. We know the situation might be difficult, and many people are talking of returning to work. I can see many cars in Nairobi streets, plenty of them coming back and the traffic jam building up, which is a sign that people have returned again to work. But is it the time to do so? It is up to you as a citizen. The legacy trend, therefore, myself and other people want to call upon you to desist, to deny these few people who break the curfew, who drink in estates, who break the restrictions, who ferry people, who sleep locked up in a house of about 50 people, who eat badly, who fail to wash hands, that there is no room for complacency because virus COVID-19 does not choose whom to attack, does not tell you how to attack. It attacks you when you fail to listen to the instructions and the guidelines that the government of the Republic of Kenya has put in place. God bless Kenya.
Viewers, good morning.
My name is
Sophie Mwanyumba from the Ministry of Health and working under National Public Health Labs. Today we are visiting the quarantine sites within Nairobi, and the teams are being dispatched out to go and visit the sites. We have the forms which we are going to use to capture the information of the visitors who came from in the country. And we also have the sample collection apparatus, which we have the oropharyngeal swabs and the nasal swabs. And each person is supposed to be taken the 2 samples, the nasal swab and the oropharyngeal swab. We have our PPEs to protect ourselves. We have the safety gears where we are having this, and the disinfection for disinfecting the apparatus which we are going to use. The waste, we have the biohazard bags where we are going to put all the waste which is generated within the site where we are collecting the specimen. We have the biohazard bags to safeguard the environment. And with us, we have the transport media, because we have to make sure that the samples which we are going to carry, they are if the virus is there, they are viable. So we have the transport media which we are carrying with us, and we are maintaining the cold chain, because we have the cool box which is equipped with the ice packs to maintain the cold chain of the virus of the samples as we come back. To my fellow Kenyans, I have a word for you today. Kindly stay at home. I am at work to safeguard the environment and to safeguard ourselves. The corona is real. It is real with us. So please let us stay at home as the health workers continue working and supporting the government or the guidelines which they have been put on place.
Viewers, good morning. This morning, I want to address the issue of Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy. The legacy of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya keeps on moving, keeps on going forward and forward. Since the handshake in 2018, that brought about the peace, the tranquility, the unity of purpose, President Uhuru's star has been rising. All over Africa, people are thinking of using the model that Kenya used to stop any form of violence, chaos on the streets after elections. As you know, all of you are aware that elections in Africa produce 2 things: after or before or after the voting. Disputed elections, winner takes it all, loser doesn't accept the results. But the Kenyan model takes us miles and miles away from the normal type of democracy. The democracy, a negotiated format, a consensus format. A democracy that gives consensus a chance. A democracy that talks about the future of a country, the unity of a country, as opposed to a fragmented country, polarized country, where most African countries find themselves in. We have seen in the last 10 years or so, most of the elections in Africa have been contested by the opposition. Very few people in Africa, countries in Africa, where opposition has conceded defeat and come up to congratulate the winner. We have seen the South African model has worked very well. The Ghanaian model has worked so well. I don't see any other country in Africa where the models have worked well. I thought it would be Sierra Leone, but today we see Sierra Leone going back to the same ethnic tensions, as you can see from the reports that are circulating in the international media and the local media. So elections in Africa are contentious issues. They create a contentious position, create a departing point for the people of Africa, of that particular nation. The legacy of Uhuru Kenyatta, therefore, will be remembered for having brought the tranquility that we have today, the peace, the new format, the new tool of having a better organized civil Africa, an Africa without violence, an Africa without chaos after elections, when the opposition accepts to work for the interests of a nation, not personal interests. This has worked in Kenya, and thank you very much, Your Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, for the tenacity and the steadfastness that you have guided this handshake up to today. For those who want to mutilate the handshake, belittle the handshake, one lesson they should learn is to look at Libya. Libya was once a territory we all respected. It is no more. Let's keep the handshake and the legacy of President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Thank you.
Good morning, Africa. Good morning, Africa, wherever you are in the world. Good morning, Kenya. Thank you very much, viewers, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for viewing and watching and enjoying all our clips for the last 4 years. Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning in Nairobi. With me in the studio is none other than Miriam Ogutu in the general headquarters of the Punchline Africa television group of groups, including Radio Punchline Africa, which is hot on air in Swahili, broadcasting live from Nairobi to the world. And if you want any African music, any number, there is a man called Pambana Pambana. Ako huko kwa television stations. He will give you any music you want. Call it Radio Punchline Africa. Viewers, this morning is the Time Express. We dedicate this time to the Kenyan Republic, and we talk about Kenya, the events in Kenya, the newspapers in Kenya, headlines in Kenya, fake news also in Kenya, destruction of state apparatus in Kenya, corruption, unity of purpose, nation building or nation breaking. Machiavelli, we have a Nikolai Machiavelli who wants now to disrupt the handshake. Watch him, Brutus, Cassius, all of them are here. They are mixed up here. They want to destroy a redemption strategy. A strategy that has brought Kenya to peace. We know him. He's sending messengers of doom. They started writing things against President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now they have started writing, going, oh, we met Raila, we met this. Rubbish. So what? Meeting Raila does not mean it changes the handshake. Nobody would like to see violence here. Shame upon the violent man. He's known. He's known. We know him. And that's why watch the steps quietly. Things are moving very soon. Very, very soon. Aya, Wagwan. Let me come back, Miriam Ogutu. I've started on a higher note, Miriam, so don't pinch me, which can release the torrent of tears. Redemption strategy is the only way forward for Kenya. Less than that, close your doors. Let's go. Less than that, if you don't do a redemption strategy, and you confuse yourselves in the murky waters of political situations of politics, and you don't achieve a redemption strategy, remember what breaks Kenya is elections. Remember what kills Kenya is elections. My fellow Africans, listen to me. What kills this good country is elections. Fix your electoral systems. Make them workable. Make them working. Get them move. Hala, walai ya Mungu, everything will be okay. The moment you pretend that you are very good, you are democratic, you have a space, democratic space. We in Kenya, we have democratic space. As long as that democratic space does not match the electoral systems, it is as soon as saying you are in the middle of the river and you have sunk and you are sinking. Wow! There you are. Those are very hot opening statements. And Miriam, believe me or not, if I'm wrong, God will help me. I have been preaching. This is 1,877 times I've talked about the one thing called redemption strategy. The Bible says when you find the people who don't take your message, carry, pack, and carry the dust and go. Am I wrong, Miriam? The Bible says, carry even the dust. Don't bother. If Kenya does not do a redemption strategy, and it starts in the middle somewhere, someone plotting to capture power. Capture power. I want to capture power. I must be the one who is popular. I am the victim. I am the victim. I am being persecuted because I came from a poor family. I am the hustler. If you don't change, we shall be going to the Hague more times. That's my prediction, and I don't want it. Because when it comes to Hague, you know I will defend even those who pretend to be hustlers. Yeah. Yes, they forget so easily. They forget so easily that the people who wanted them to be roasted are here again. Are here again, Jamen. They are here. They are here. Be careful, my people. We are heading towards confusion. You start confusing the political party where you belong, you divide it, you say you have owned MPs. So when did the MPs start to be bought in briefcase? Nyinyi watoto mnataka kuleta nchi gani hii sasa? Some of us are older than you. We are fed up. Nchi gani? Unataka madaraka every day. Madaraka gani bwana? Will you rule the trees? You can kill Matsanga, you can assassinate Matsanga, do anything you want to do. But these words will haunt you. Don't stop this, man. Pick a phone and talk to your friends. Kenyans don't need it. They have COVID. There's COVID hammering. The figure is hammering. The figure is hammering. My God, some countries are opening. Yeah. Some countries are opening. Some countries are opening. Jermaine, Kenyans, come back. Remove your mindset. Change your behavior. Change your stigmatization, your fear, sense of fear. Come back. Come back and fight COVID-19. Forget about power wrestling games. Oh, Oscar, you go and see Raila, then you cause a problem. The telephone call that called Raila in that place is a friend of Ruto. We know him. We know the name, the time. Then later on call Oscar to come. We don't know these things. We know it. Your Simu. Raila did not plan to meet anybody. The man from Mombasa is the one who met Raila. Sasa, you can see how we know these things. So whatever you are planning, we know. People know. We know you. You have gone back to plan, but it is going to be coming. Don't confuse the handshake. Don't confuse the dialogue. Don't confuse the redemption strategy. The redemption strategy, Miriam, is very important. I've made those opening remarks so that people know. This confusion that, Oscar Sudi went to meet in Raila, so what? Is there leprosy? Who has a leprosy amongst them not to meet? It's normal. Raila can bump into anybody. Haven't I bump into Raila in Kempinski when he goes for his gym and massage. Has he ever told me there is no problem of meeting? Even at that hour of elections, when I was hitting him on a daily basis, telling him, mzee, wewe unataka kuleta shida. Sisi iko kwa bracket ya ile ya uzee. Tunaenda. Yes. I knew Raila from 1982. Where were you? Where were you? You are still looking for shoes in school. To wear shoes in order to match those who had the shoes. Watch it. This thing, you know what? At times you tend to agree with Atwoli. The most unfortunate thing is Atwoli did not go to school. But he produced very sharp people who have gone to school, like Dr. Lukoye and others. I don't see any other group that has produced better people. Yeah. Where's the doctorate? At least Matanga, I can say I have a doctorate coming in 1.5 years in my home. Second, then a third one follows. Watu wanagonga pana enda kwa biashara. Wanagonga kusoma. But you grow your family, then tell them to do business. Magendo, ile magendo. Twende. Supply this, supply that, supply that. What the hell is this? Supply what? Atwoli has compensated by having Dr. Lukoye, an expert in medical. You'd see him talk. He's got so many. So don't, at least, but for me, I talk my mind. Hate me, fine. That's the time express to bring you cheers or harmony or to fight COVID-19. Miriam, there you are. Over to you. Give us the shocking figures of Kenya. Have I summed up your heart?
Very well. This morning, as we speak, the numbers have soared here in Kenya, and right now we stand at 581. I said 5,000. I thought I was talking about Egypt, but we are at 581 cases right now as we speak. And of course, yesterday when that announcement was being made, Eastleigh now is under lock. And I think, Doctor, we predicted that yesterday here when we were having that conversation, and the manner in which people from those areas and even the old Mombasa town there are not really paying attention and adhering to some of these measures that the government has put in place. So right now, Kenya, and of course, 29 or 24 deaths. I'm just trying to get the figures here.
Yes.
Yes, so that's where we stand right now, 581.
500 is 500. Is 500 what?
581 cases.
581 cases.
Yes.
We are short of 19.
And 26 deaths and 190 recoveries. So also the recoveries there have gone up. And probably
yes. Very impressive. I am very, very impressed with the record of Mutahi Kagwe. And I want to speak with confidence that if people don't slide back to the normal, to the usual habits, you know, Kenyans have created something very, very silly. And in fact, at times you need, whether here or in London or Harare or anywhere where my station will be, I will always hammer the way I hammer. What will you do? Hakuna itagonga. Wacha nawaambie nyinyi. You have now created something called abnormalize before you normalize. Have you heard something on social media? We have to abnormalize before we normalize. Are you historical? You have a ventilator. Where are they? Where are they? Where are the ventilators? Hadadi tufanye abnormali. This man on Twitter, Kenya and Twitter, tufanye abnormalize before we normalize. Have you heard of that thing happening? How do you normalize with a disease flying in the air? You can normalize with AIDS, because AIDS, if you want it, you get it. AIDS, HIV, if you want it, you get it. Because there you'll go and have physical contact. But this virus is moving everywhere. That's why Mutahi Kagwe is telling you to wear a mask like this. Like this. Mine is here on standby. I don't know about Miriam. Mine is here. But because Miriam is making, she has to keep her makeup. Me, I don't have makeup. Me, Nagonga, I wear. Yes, she's keeping her makeup. But very soon, the virus is here. And the virus is here. Protect yourself. Fanya protection ya mwili yako, not for Uhuru. Don't do it for Uhuru. Do it for yourself, because you will not be buried with Uhuru. Uhuru ataenda chini peke yake. In fact, kama anaenda chini, tutampatia 21 gun salute. Tutampatia gun salute. And tuende. Let's talk facts. The president has given you a direction. What else do you want from him, Jamen? What do you want Uhuru to do? Why are people saying Uhuru must resign? Why from where? And resign and do what? Did Uhuru invent virus? Where did the President Uhuru get the virus from? Tell me, he got it from where? He has not traveled for the last 5 months. Since he last traveled in December. Did he go and get the virus? He's telling you, protect yourself. You will not die with him. Nobody goes to the grave with the other. Let's talk seriously about COVID-19. It is real. It is bad. If you slide back to this behavior of Eastleigh, that you are trading in Eastleigh with money, where will you take that money? Where will you take the money? To the grave? Those Range Rovers you drive out of Eastleigh, there are businessmen pouring goods in Eastleigh for other people to carry. Where will you take that Range Rover? Utawacha hapa. That virus will catch you at Studio Sasa. Are you not seeing the people who have the money in Dubai? Me who didn't have the money anywhere, I'm happy. I'm zero. I borrow at times. I work with passion. I don't work for money. At my age, I will not be here talking because I want some people to hear something which I have in knowledge, which I studied for. I'm not Dr. Ndii, who has no toilet that can teach economics. Yes, you know toilet teaches economics. How to behave in a toilet is very serious. In Oxford, he was told that when you go to the toilet, you sit there for 2 hours with a newspaper. Wazungu, does he have a toilet to teach people? He's busy insulting Kenyatta, Kenyatta, my throat. You are just insulting the president every time for what? What has he done? He has told you, grow up, put on a mask, wash your hands, keep a distance. Don't go to the hotel to sit down. Kupiga gossip. Kupiga gossip. There are some men who gossip. They gossip, oh, you know my house, you know my wife. So what? Why don't you go and gossip with your wife? Kana bibi yako. Pick, take away. If you're a bachelor or half a bachelor like some of us, we send you for take away in these hotels. They are there. They have service. I don't go there. You can send it for take away from Kempinski, which I do. Nilete sausage moja, biri na nyanya, uleke na mayai, breakfast. Yeah, why do you go there to gossip? Oh, you see, boss? Sit at home. Unarudisha magari Nairobi. Sasa, corona ataenda namna gani? Watu wenye unarudisha magari kwa barabara is that you look at Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe went to 40. It dropped. It has now dropped. Have you seen the record of Zimbabwe? It's dropped. It's dropped because they listen. Yes. Amanda, they listen. Some people here don't listen to Matanga. They think I'm a madman. I've never been to Mathare, never Butalika, never in London psychiatric hospital. The only thing I have is I studied the political science to the highest level. Anyone who studied the subject, like this so-called Mutahi Nguni, kuja tufanye exams. Tuone. Wengine walipata madegree kutoka huko Harvard. Zile the River Road ya New York. Like Makao Mutua. Kuja tuandike. Examina akue huko na mimi nikue huko tukue kwa leni. Mnasema, how do you call yourself that you are a professor and you don't know that the account is reading 16 million? Sema mnataka pesa, mchukue pesa. Mnapenda pesa sana. You build houses in people's money. That I live in Irunda. In people's money. You're a thief. I rather live in a slum or an apartment which I can afford, but not to steal and then tell people, come to my house in Irunda. Umbiiba. Wizi. That's what is destroying the Africa. I'm not PLO Lumumba because I don't live in Irunda. I got my degree through hardship, washing toilets from Nairobi to Glasgow. So 4 hours, you carry books and read. When they give you 1 hour break, you read. You don't use it for break. You lock yourself in a cubicle and read. The time the train returns to London, you are entering a university through Victoria station. You go to London Guildhall and Calcutta House. Later on you go and get a train that goes to Canterbury. Wajame, watu tunapitia mbali. So hii mambo ya kuzungumiza pupu, mwache. Build the nation with your president. Listen to Mutahi Kagwe. COVID-19 hiyo ndio nazungumza, inaenda, inapanda. Unasema Nabii Muhammad alisema tukule chakula pamoja. Have you seen eating it slowly together in Egypt? Tukule tukae pamoja. Because Nabii Muhammad said, I have not seen Nabi, the Quran says, sit and eat together, that this one removes the meat, puts it back. And then you also take the meat. We invented those habits. Now in Majengo, in Mombasa, we are eating like that. When Joho tells you, Jip, Moha, that tomorrow so-called MP, Nyali, comes to say people are being harassed because he's used to accusation. When he was in KTN, he was accusing the government. He was accusing Ruto every day for corruption. Today he's working for Ruto. Hey! This morning I'm saying it. Wacha nigonge. Get time break. Express right from Punchline Africa Television. All the way from the command center of Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from Nairobi with Miriam in the general headquarters. Let's bring it on. Waja iwake moto. That Moha Jijopev used to tell people that Ruto is a corrupt man. And today is the head of the Department of Corrupt People. Telling people in Mombasa not to listen to Joho. You look at the results. The figures today coming will even shock you. Sasa tunakuwa kwa 40 because we are behaving badly. We are behaving badly. My sister, we are behaving badly. Just drive around the town and see how people are wearing their masks. Just drive around the town. Akia Mungu. Don't say this Ugandan makes noise. This Ugandan says something. Listen to it. This disease is in air. This disease is not AIDS. It's not HIV. It's not Ebola. It's not cholera. It's not cholera. It is a virus that flies with air. That flies when you touch a man or you sit near a person who is coughing. HIV, you must have serious contact. That's why they introduce condoms. That you don't do any activities without protection. That one we know the medicine. If you go on doing it, hammering it without protection, you have a problem. But this one is very bad. And Ezekiel Mutua tells you every day. You see, people hated Ezekiel Mutua. I am the only single man who stood up to defend Ezekiel Mutua. You were there, Miriam. You remember? You were there in our studio. I defended Ezekiel Mutua. Up to today, I tell you, Ezekiel was trying to bring manners. Kuambia watu mkuwe na desturi mzuri jameni. Which type of people, morals? We are growing very bad people. Look at the town. Drive into town now. if you are an investigative journalist, drive in the town, look at the people who are wearing masks. Very few. And yet the disease is real. Then tomorrow you'll go and say, Sirikali's idea. This thing of Sirikali's idea, itakoma lini? Budalangi. Since I came to Kenya, I've been hearing Budalangi. Number Amwamba, that man, when he was given that slot of foreign affairs, his role is to wear suits and go around to sit with diplomats and get gossip. Na kufanya madeal for the boss. What has he done for Budalangi? Where is he? All these MPs for Budalangi. Every unalia dini. Tunalia every year. There is Budalangi. It was like when Abbas Gulet was the chairman of Red Cross. Oh, hunger. Why don't you prepare for this hunger when there is no hunger? That is the question today. Why do we cry all the time? Reactive. Why can't we be proactive, Miriam? Back to you. Why do we look for blood now? Why are we waiting to register our voters when the registration should be there every day? Did you know that? The Constitution of the Republic of Kenya allows the registration of voters on a daily basis. Now we are going to see this man called Wafula Chebukati wake up to say, now I give you 200 days for registration. No. Angalia hapa. Look at this constitution, a very good constitution. It gives you registration of voters on a daily basis. You go to your polling station there. Why do we waste money? Why have we created polling officers, electoral commission officers in each location? Because they are supposed to register people daily. Where does that money go? Someone pockets the money of imaginary polling station staff. Am I wrong? They are supposed to be there on a daily basis. When there is a by-election is when you see these guys coming with their, these things. But yet, what do they do all the time? Nothing. They are supposed to give us electoral programs, sensitize us on our rights, on the rights of the people of Kenya to be able to vote freely and what you can do, how you can resolve conflict. The Electoral Commission is supposed to be teaching people on a daily basis, but it doesn't do it. Disaster and preparedness. Whose department is it? Deputy President's office. Asking for the money. Where is it? Where is the money for the disaster and preparedness?
And special programs.
When we talk when we talk like this, they say we are against the DP. We are against the institution where the money was allocated, not individuals. And mark that, I'm not against the DP. I'm against the institution, the office that took the money for preparedness. Time has come for Kenya and His Excellency maybe to try to separate these ministries so that there is a ministry for preparedness, disaster, not to put it under devolution. Yes. Mark that one again, maybe I'm right down that we say it. Kenya needs a ministry of preparedness, disaster, and in crisis management. We have a lot of crises. By now, Mutahi Kagwe would not be shouting to the top of his mouth to make sure that the people understand that washing hands is very important. That ministry should be the one going to see, to make sure that my people of Elengoya Marakwet, my good people, neighbors in West Pokot, who are daily living in fear because they don't know when another landslide is coming, are prepared for this. Let the government set up an institution. Please, please, I might be a foreigner, but even Saul was a foreigner among the Jews. I've not come here to persecute anybody. Messages are delivered better by prophets who come from outside. That is on a somber mode. Let's look at the headlines today. Today I've become prophetic to the extent that I've amused the media. Look at South Sudan. Look at South Sudan, yeah. We started like this. We started like this. What I'm talking, I hadn't seen at Raila's make statement on the Daily Monitor, the Daily Nation. Top here. Aha! 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 Read that one.
Yes.
I told you.
Yes.
Part of the problem of Africa, of Kenya, is elections. IEBC, we are sitting on a time bomb. It is going to wake up, there will be a crisis. Luckily enough, this time Maraga is gone, will be gone. And I want to thank David, namesake, David Maraga. For the first time, you are doing something which is good towards this court. Keep it ye, that when we meet, bump into each other, when God willing, you will say that I criticized you for the better. Maraga has shown some teeth towards his end tail. He gave a law yesterday, very impressive law. You are a thief. Then you go to the court and say, don't touch my property. Who are you? Your property must be touched. EIEBC. I told you, Raila is here. And I'm telling you, it is not Ruto Raila clash. It is intelligent. It's an intellectual question to be discussed. Every person who has read political science, like David Matanga, even if you give me an exam when my eyes are like this, I can write for you that the mistake of the Republic of Kenya, hallelujah, lies in the electoral mechanisms. If we don't correct them, don't blame Kenyatta. Let's blame ourselves. I was speaking, I didn't know that it was on the newspaper. I saw the problem. That's why daytime break is always here. Keep it as it is. We take it as it is in the morning. Miriam is going to be interesting for Kenya. Then later on in the afternoon, we turn into the diaspora Africa. Let's do it. Don't break the nation. The breaking of the nation starts with such statements. The breaking of the nation starts with breaking of parties, confusion, innuendos, gossip, peddling of wrong information. That I am Oscar Sudi, a man whose mouth does not shut properly, left and right, comes out to say I met Raila Odinga. So what? Raila Odinga does not have leprosy. You can meet, bump into him. So does that qualify you to have done what? Will you change the handshake? No. Which Kenyan today wants to go to violence? Who wants to go to violence? Miriam, you want to go to violence?
Oh, no.
Do you want violence on the streets? Who?
They don't need
Even
to
if
do
you
that.
meet,
Yes.
you meet His Excellency, the right Honorable Prime Minister, by accident, because we know somebody from Mombasa who is related to somebody called that number. Therefore, you have nothing to tell people that you met Raila Odinga. It is, so what? Raila Odinga is a person. He can meet anybody. Have they, Uhuru Kenyatta has not restricted him to meet people. Meet this one, don't meet that one. No, he's a Kenyan. Now the same people of Tanga group who have been Tanga-Tangering, causing confusion everywhere, said, aha, we told you. Matanga, we told you. Why tell me? Why write it to me? Let me gonga nyenye. Nyenye, you don't know the master stroke of political science. It is coming. The master stroke of political science is never underrated. The time. The timing is coming. You don't stop the handshake. Then you go and do what? You stop it and do what? You want to do what? I'm speaking from a very serious point of view. Because I've seen conflicts. Conflicts have made me to speak from very far away. Because of a conflict in Uganda. I've seen 10 governments in Uganda overthrown in my eyes. From Yusuf Lule up to our own government the second time. The one of Idi Amin I saw when I was left with a suitcase, a metallic box with a mattress, Vitafoam, called the Vitafoam mattress that my father bought for me. I was left on the middle of the road because there was a roadblock in front looking for all members of Bote's Uganda People's Congress. My father left me in 1971, the first day of entry in a senior secondary school. I was left on the road in Tororo to Malaba Road to go on my way to enter the school. And the coup happened on the same day. Look at that. Telling me I'm a stupid man. Telling me. And I had to carry a mattress to ask. People are running towards the Maraba. But I had to carry my mattress with my granny nuts and the popcorns mixed. Then one general who is in the UPDF today stole my granny nuts. I've never forgiven him. He knows he's my OB. He took my granuts and ate it. Because I was a newcomer, I had to be bullied a bit. They in the bullying, they opened the suitcase, they took the granuts. That is the most painful thing, to take your Cora. Cora. It was called Cora. Cora. I've never forgiven that UPDF general. He's a general now. Aligonga mahindi yangu, aligonga granasi yangu, mama alikuwa amenipatia. Baba yangu alitupa mimi kwa barabara on the way to Malaba. My school, my Jasa school was in near the border, 6 miles away. My father disappeared. Because Idi Amin had laid a roadblock ahead looking for Obote supporters. That's 1971, when I started seeing the problem of entering secondary school 1 with a metallic box and a stolen Cora. Mutu aliiba bitu yangu. Namjua general sasa ako kwa jeshi. UPDF. Bring back my Cora. Bado tuko na kitu ya kusukua hapa. That thing has never got away from me, Miriam. When I think of the granuts prepared by my mother, she's still alive, she can tell you. She has been kept by God, molested during the 86, 89, 87, because of me. My mother, molested for politics. But we have struggled. Tears come down. My Cora was eaten. So when I tell Kenyans the truth about conflicts, listen to me. Listen to me. You have never seen any. You have never seen any. Don't bring new conflict here. Stick to handshake. Although now handshake cannot be handshake because the disease COVID-19 has come. But stick to it in terms of literally speaking. It's the only way out for Kenya after COVID-19. If you break this, you go to violence. You have never seen what violence has done to our people in Uganda. Ugandan most intelligent people are outside. They are doing odd jobs, including digging graves, which is abnormal for African. Yes. There is a Kenyan whom I removed from digging graves in Camden town, and I gave him to be a bouncer on my nightclub. Today he's a professor. He knows himself. And then he has turned on me. He wants to persecute me in Kenyan courts. You can imagine how human beings forget. I removed him from digging graves in Camden town. I told him it is very bad for you as an African to dig a grave, because these spirits of dead bodies you throw in the grave will haunt you at night. Your children will die. He agreed with me, let's go to school. Come and be my bouncer on my nightclub. We used to bounce at night. Daytime, we used to enter the train together to go and study. Today he's a professor of law. God, that's why, sir, professor, the man you want to hurt is here. Remember, the money I used to pay you was mine from my set. So you also pay me. Don't pay me the currency. You know it. You are here in Kenya practicing law. Don't pay me back. Remember what I used to pay you, 150 per week. It was enough to keep your children alive, keep you alive, keep your school alive. Tisha watu sasa unaanza kuandika mabarua nini kupatie 10 million. Nilipata wapi 10 million? Ziko wapi? If I have not even got anything that can carry. Maybe turudi Ulaya ndio nikupatie nyumba yangu, which I bought with my cash. I never stole like the people you are defending who are thieves. My house was with my money. The trauma I had. I paid cash. I worked hard from those insults. So there you are. Good morning. Miriam, let's read the headlines. Let's tell the people the COVID-19 is released yesterday. Thank you very much, Mutahi Kagwe. You listened to my message in the morning. Hallelujah. I told you, how can you be an imam of a mosque, tena unaenda supply poison to people? Sure. That imam, did he die?
He passed on, and before he passed on, he knew he was tested and he knew he was positive for COVID-19, but he still went ahead visiting people in their homes and praying together and all that stuff. And so he seems to be a person who was on a suicide mission. I don't know how else to call that, because after he knew that he had the COVID-19, but still continued to be very active in the community. But he passed on sometimes back last month. So yes, I think that move by the Ministry of Health to close down Eastleigh and also Mombasa Old Town is very important. We've been talking about it, and we've been seeing these are areas that the government already had spotted as hotspots. Yes.
Miriam, my sister, Mutahi Kagwe, you are watching, or your PAs should be watching, because they should not sit in the office just eating the money. Watch it to some of us giving you ideas, because some of us don't sleep well. If Kenya is not well, you can't sleep well. There are some people who are sleeping. David Matanga, I don't sleep. If you go to my line, you will find me at 2, 3 p.m. I'm already up, because I look at areas which can help Kenya. Dr. Amos, Mutahi Kagwe. Close more places. Funga and isolate. Funga and isolate. In his sleep, people sleep 40 of them in one house of a 2-bedroom on top of each other. When you talk about it, people will come and say you are targeting a certain group. No, this disease does not target a certain group. War. I gave you the history why the disease is prevalent in Cairo. Cairo streets are as narrow as my mother's path going to the garden.
Yes, doctor. I think that might explain why we've been seeing a lot of numbers there in the northeastern part of Africa,
Exactly.
the northern part of Africa, because of their culture of being together.
Being together.
The culture, yes.
That's it. Go to Mogadishu. Mogadishu people are eating food. Like, listen first. Mogadishu, watu wanakula chakula like we are eating near Prophet Muhammad. Amekuja hako hapa tukulie pamoja. Hakuna. This thing is eating people, it is killing people. Get your food and sit very far. Eat and go to them down in your house on a mat, pray. Don't sit in groups. Watu wengine, they are saying, return churches. Bishop Olasapiti, you ashamed me. I am an Anglican. And I'm more or less the same age with you. Therefore, you not say you beat me in age. I've been in Anglican church since 1960. 50, actually, I was baptized in 1955. They poured the water on me. Later on, when I grew up, I was confirmed because I said, where did you get this name, David? I want to know. I started challenging my father and mother. I was confirmed in the Anglican church. How do you call for the Anglican church to come back? When Canterbury, where the religion came from is closed. Bishop Olasapiti, sikia moto leo. If my Wabukala was there, Wabukala is my cousin. Wabukala is my cousin. He would not allow that. Olasapiti, you are playing politics. You want the churches to open. Walaya Mungu, my Lord, the bishop. If Canterbury is closed today, if Vatican is closed today, the Pope is seeing people through remote control. You want the Kenyans to open churches? Banange. If you want money, say it. Uhuru can give you. But don't open churches. Where the religion came from, Mr. Olasapiti, Archbishop Olasapiti, the Canterbury in Lambeth, the Lambeth is closed. It's closed. So you want Kenya All Saints Church to open with your provost who is politically motivated. You remember Njenga? There's a man there who writes articles. Oh, that Uhuru Kenyatta should beg the deputy. How can the Uhuru Kenyatta beg the deputy president? Who is the deputy? They want the churches open. So if an archbishop says open the church, how will somebody in the village agree to a mask, to wear a mask. You're a leader. You're a church leader. Today I woke up to say the truth, that it set me free. That the bishop, archbishop, or Sapit say, consider opening churches. When the Canterbury is closed, where the bishop of Anglican Church of England has closed the church, you wanted the church in Kenya to open. Where the Pope Francis has closed the Vatican, you want the church, the Catholic Church, to open. Where Americans have closed the churches, you want the evangelical churches to open. Iguridi tulitoa wapi ya collection on Sunday? Mlitoa wapi? Let me pray for me. Pray for me. Because there is nothing in Africa that is in Africa. When a man in Madagascar finds the voodoo liquid, yummy liquid from, I told, hey, story, get to the story. Miriam, I told you 2 friends of mine from Zimbabwe. Hey, this is going to be yummy. 2 friends of mine from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe government sent samples. You know they are near there.
Yes.
They brought the liquid. It is yummy. But because Mr. DJ of Madagascar, thank you, Mr. DJ, for praying for us. Thank you, thank you. That's the president of Madagascar. He's a disc joker. He's DJ, a joker, and a music like the man who was shot by Owino. Don't forget, Babu Owino, you have not paid the bill. You also went to shoot someone.
Yes.
You are one of my few younger men I had respect. Even when you are doing bad things, I thought you had very good English. Now you shoot someone. Don't forget to pay that bill in Kenyatta Hospital. It is waiting for you, Bwana Mheshimiwa. You are one of those that when Museveni said, if you go to Kampala, they catch you. I told the president, allow the guy to go there. Wachana na yeye aingie. Like I saved Hassan Omar. Hassan Omar, that he was the chairman of the Kenya Human Rights. Aliingia Kampala. I had to save him to come back. Have you ever heard of Hassan Omar talk about Matanga? I had to plead with those people. Don't. Kimani is the one who caused the problem. They ask Kimani what Kampala is. Ndio nyenye mseme mimi nirudi huko nichomwe. Let me be wherever I am. Let the man hold his power. If you don't want me, all right, I'll go. But let the man hold his power until God calls shot. I am not a caller of shots. Don't expect me to be Angel Gabriel. Today niliamka mzuri sana. How can a church leader ask for churches to be open when where the religion came from, the churches are closed? Question to you, Miriam. Take it from there.
It doesn't make any sense, and as if he does not know the magnitude of the problem that is the COVID-19. Does he watch the news from outside the country? We're lucky. The numbers are going up, and it should worry us, and that's why even the government felt it is necessary to close down a place like Eastleigh and also Mombasa Old Town. But to see a leader in that, a leader who commands a lot of respect, being that he's a spiritual leader, you know, people listen to people like this. So I think our leaders, be it the religious leaders or political leaders, when it comes to a time like this, they should be very sober, and before they make certain statements out there, put them out there in public, they should really think about it and consider the impact that this might have to the general public, and how the general public will receive this message. If Ole Sapit is asking for the churches to be open right now, we know the country, we are not ready, and that churches being opened right now, we know a lot of these churches cannot even maintain social distancing, because you cannot chase people back at home and tell them, you know what, the church is already full, the number in there is enough to maintain social distancing, so the rest of you go back home and worship from home. It will be very difficult it will be very difficult to handle such a situation. And when CS Mutahi said some restaurants will be open, but not yet, because they have to go through a number of measures to ensure they will comply to these measures that the Ministry of Health has put in place. And so the church started complaining, if you're opening the restaurants, you're opening this, so why can't you open even the churches back? That is because in restaurants it's easy to control the movement of people in and out. In church, what will you do? Tell people to go back home because the church is already full, the required number, the church has met the required number. So these are things that our leaders, be it political, be it religious, must be very careful before they come out here and start making statements. People take such statements, especially from a spiritual leader like Ole Sapit, very seriously. When he speaks, the flock will listen because he leads the church. So can he now lead from the front and continue telling people, stay at home, wear your masks, the church will be open, but not now. Let's just be patient until we have this situation under control. Has he not been seeing the way the numbers have been spiking? In May alone, we've recorded more numbers than we did, I think, even in the month of March. So let him not play here. This is a matter of life and death. So he should encourage the congregants to continue being patient, pray from home. There's online churches. I don't know if they do that. And I see after the services, they even ask for the tithes, and there's M-Pesa pay bill. You can pay your tithes or because I understand the church has to run, has to pay its bill, has to pay whatever it is. But this is not the time. This is not the time to try to bring in unnecessary things that will cause chaos and confusion to the people of Kenya. So can he work with the government and hear what the government is saying and reiterate that to the people that is leading?
Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you very much, viewers. Today, it is not a day like any day. We have our correspondent from Kampala. Good morning, Kampala.
Good morning, Doctor.
Speak up, speak out, speak loudly so that people can hear you. Good morning, Kampala.
Good morning, good morning.
Are you hearing Miriam in the studio?
Yes, I can hear a part of it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Our veteran journalist correspondent, Stephen Ouma from Kampala. Can you give us an update of what is happening in Kampala, the capital city of Uganda, and in Uganda in general? General Museveni issued a lot of instructions on how to follow. The cars have returned on merit. Those hardware shops, those that do transport, those that bulk transport, those who take workers to the factories. Tell the public viewers in Kenya to take the example on how they have controlled the traffic in Kampala. Over to you in Kampala, Stephen Ouma. We are not hearing you properly. We are not hearing you properly. We want to hear you.
How is that? Can you hear me now?
Yes. I can hear him from here.
Yeah, Miriam is hearing you.
Yes. Kampala is quite sunny. Today we woke up with some more pathogens. Some 2 more new cases of COVID have come up.
Yes.
These are truck drivers via Malaba. 1 Kenyan and 1 Egyptian. The communities in Uganda here, cases are not there. They're trying to test here and there. They tested about over 400 samples, and none of them tested positive, apart from the 2 truck drivers, 1 Egyptian and a Kenyan. They have, the president says ago made some easy of the lockdown, allowing garages to open, all hardware shops, but there's no way you can open a garage, and you don't allow the mechanic shops to open to supply them. The cars are not yet allowed on the street, and it's a bit of a controversy. Otherwise, the disease in Canada here is a bit controlled. The only new cases we are getting are from the borders, Kenya and Tanzania.
Kenya and Tanzania, I think the Kenyans are hearing now. And I want to ask you this cardinal question about the churches in Uganda. And Miriam might have some questions also for you. The behavior of people in Uganda, are they wearing masks?
Yes, enough of them are wearing masks, though they are still limited. These are masks which the culture is still a bit new. They have not yet been adopted. And yes, most of them are still at home. They are putting the mask bit of a challenge. But the few of them who go on the street there is because of masks. And it's a culture which the person says must be a mask when the lockdown is over.
Okay, Miriam, the situation in Kampala, how many people so far COVID affected, dead? 0 deaths so far. I have not had any who has died in Kampala. Only numbers keep on a bit rising, not too mine, but coming from the drivers of trucks and the people coming from Tanzania or entering from other border points. What about the people, the local population, the people in the villages? What is their sign of hope?
The people are getting frustrated. They are getting frustrated that they are locked down in their homes. They are not having enough food. The food which government policy deliver is being delivered at a very slow pace. And they're saying, why should we continue staying at home? We have confidence in it, but we are importing the disease from our neighbors. So they are getting a bit impatient, and it is going to be a bit difficult for the head of state to extend any further. Come after it 2 weeks when they're over. The people look frustrated.
Okay, when you look at the churches, are there leaders in Kenya, in Uganda, who are agitating for opening of churches?
Not really, but of recent, there's what we call the Religious Council of Uganda. This is an institution that brings all churches together. The head of the Ramadan Party brought the president, asking him to allow the religious leaders to be part of the essential service provider, be allowed access to move to the communities, to pray with them, to comfort them during the consent. So that's the pass over the lockdown. But I'm yet to hear of any residents who are trying to open up.
Miriam, Mr. Stephen Ouma is yours. Any questions that you have, that something that is not working in Kenya or which might be working in Uganda is yours for questioning.
Yes, indeed. And I just seen there the cases in Uganda have gone up. Right now they are at 100, of course, considerably low, compared to Kenya here. So obviously there's something that Uganda is doing that is right, that perhaps we could learn from them here, especially the people in terms of how they are cooperating with the measures that the government has put in place. And of course here President Uhuru Kenyatta has been very careful not to put very stringent measures. I'm sure even the situation in Eastleigh and Mombasa, the Ministry of Health and the government was pushed really to put this sort of a lockdown to restrict movement in and out of Eastleigh because of the dangers. Obviously, it is posing for the rest of the population here in Nairobi. So I don't know, what would he advise? What is it that he thinks that Uganda is doing different, especially the people there, the general public, compared to Kenya? Because here we see they walk around, people don't care about the mask. They have it, but they don't care that they're wearing it correctly. And the measures that the Ministry of Health had put in place earlier. Right now, the public, I keep saying here because I see that coming to work in the morning and going back, you see that the PSVs right now, they're a huge, they pose a huge, challenge and indeed a huge danger in terms of spreading the COVID-19 because they've relaxed all these measures. They don't wash their hands anymore. They don't provide the passengers with sanitizers. The driver and the conductor, you hardly see them wearing the mask correctly. I've not seen one of them wearing the mask in the way that it should be worn. They don't do that at all. So the attitude, and the mindset of the Kenyan public compared to the Ugandan public, how would you compare? And perhaps what is it that we could do in the general public that could make it to help fight against the COVID-19 here in Kenya compared to what is being done there in Uganda?
Ouma?
Doctor, unfortunately, William's sound the faith. I don't pick up the message very well.
Okay, the question is, what is it in Kenya that you think can be borrowed from Kenya, and what is it that you think Kenya can borrow from Uganda? In summary, as far as COVID-19 is concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yes, what Kenya can borrow from Uganda is one. First of all, if we had all gone for a total lockdown, by now at least we would have been able to manage this situation. But you find that Uganda went into a total lockdown and Kenya did, which is making it of a challenge. Two, why don't Kenya set its strength before they did? For instance, if they are leaving Mombasa and they know that these guys are getting out of the country, you take the opportunity or the initiative to test them, so that by the time they did a reach to fear Kenya, they would have known that these guys have a problem and we should not let them go to Uganda. Then for the Uganda side, I am not very sure what they can learn from Kenya, but it is the spirit of East African community of joint negotiation and negotiating together. They do get two leaders can sit and really talk on the issue, understand and agree how to manage this.
Miriam, you got that one?
Mm-hmm.
He says, borrow from Kenya should have borrowed the lockdown that Uganda did, mm-hmm. which unfortunately did not happen in time.
Yes. Because
people here went to court, even the curfew. Senior lawyers, Mr. Ouma, I want to tell you, senior lawyers went to court to stop curfew. Yeah. They wanted to stop curfew. Mark you, what helps Uganda is tampering democracy with military, some form of militarism. It's the same thing that helps Ethiopia. It's the same thing that helps Rwanda. It's the same thing that helps Zimbabwe. You see, Zimbabwe is more organized because there is tampering of harshness. But here in Kenya, there is freedom, a very serious freedom that everything that you do, you might be taken to court and the judge can say, no, the curfew is wrong. Fortunately, on this time, Mr. Happy, the chairman of the president of Law Society of Kenya, his application was thrown out in a marathon one day, and he was told you cannot remove curfew because the curfew helps people to stay indoors. So that is the difference between Kenya and Uganda. We cannot lock, but Museveni in Uganda can lock because in your parliament you still have even military men sitting in the parliament, reserved 10 seats. Here in Kenya, there is no military person in parliament. So that is where the problem is, Ouma. Any other thing? Yes.
I agree with you. There are sometimes whereby we can manage it. If you look at what has happened to the US is now getting the biggest number of fatalities. And that is all the rest around the problem. People say no because of what they are saying. And sometimes the people you might be wrong. campaigns have scored high.
They have indeed scored very highly. And I don't have any problem against scoring highly when you are saving lives. When President Museveni decided that he will discipline Karamojong, you and I have been veteran journalists. He disciplined Karamojong. You remember when we grew up, Karamoja was an area where you can be banished. You will be taken there for punishment. Even the colonial masters used to take people to Karamoja for banishment so that they don't see good light in Kampala. The Mwangas, the Kabaka, so many people were banished to Karamoja. But one legacy that President Museveni has left, or will leave to the people of Uganda, is changing Karamoja into a productive area. Today, Karamoja produces crops and sells these crops across down to Mbale, to Soroti, to Kampala. We used to take for them food, relief. There is no banditry. There are no guns stealing of cows. Across the bridge in Kenya, West Pokot, Turkana, people are still stealing cows. People are still eating, killing people, raiding people's communities, taking their goods. This is an example what Kenya can borrow from Uganda. Am I wrong, Miriam and Ouma?
You are correct, Doctor. You are correct. Actually, for recent, there was a development program also launched by President Museveni and Kenyatta to join the development Karamoja region, that's Turkana and Karamoja. And one of the proposed development projects is to build a road from Boroto, that's at the border of Uganda, Sudan, Kenya, linking up to Ethiopia. And that would be a very big boost in terms of developing that area, connecting that northeast west of the Turkana to Ethiopia and the sea.
Okay. Stephen Ouma, journalist from Kampala, you're parting short.
Somebody?
You're parting short, please.
My parting short is we are still out in Uganda, we are still active to see how this COVID pandemic will end and unfold. And we are expecting, I think with Abraham said, we're expecting the two heads of state, actually, all the international heads of state to come up and address this issue of the truck drivers. The issue of the truck drivers is the only stumbling block are remaining in our country, even in Tanzania and Kenya. So the earlier the better. We're expecting that issue to be addressed yesterday.
Thank you very much, Stephen Gerard Ouma. Stephen Ouma, could you also send me your photograph so that it appears on the screen? Miriam, isn't it?
Yes.
We know whom we're talking to as our correspondent from Kampala.
This
is pure employment. It is not anything that you should get worried about. You are a correspondent. You are a correspondent. People can rely on you on gathering. You are a veteran journalist. You have written papers. You can teach. You hold a high esteem of education. Don't worry, we are not doing politics. We are only building Africa. And I would like to leave a legacy of building a united Africa, an Africa with vision, an Africa with accountability, an Africa where people can sit together without saying, I'm from Rwanda, I am from Kigali, I am from Bujumbura. We want to say we are from Africa, so that one day, and one day alone, even if we are not here, we shall see the results of a better Africa. Thank you very much. Send us your photograph and so that it appears on the screen, so that people know who you are, who is speaking to us, from where, as we do with our correspondents in Khartoum and our correspondents, Professor Onyali in Nairobi. Thank you very much, viewers. Miriam?
The next questions can be answered in your next
Yes,
show.
I know I'll be excusing myself and yes, but before I leave, Doctor, there's something there on the front pages that is very important there that it has not been given the highlight it should have on the front pages, but I see it there on the side, the front pages of the Daily Nation, because Kenyans have been complaining, and we've talked about this from last week about, yes, we are willing to go and have ourselves tested, but should we go and test positive and then we are forced into quarantine? We cannot afford these charges here. We see right now the Ministry of Health came out again yesterday and reiterated, and I'll just read that on the front pages on the Daily Nation: free quarantine. The government will meet the cost of quarantine and testing for people isolated after coming into contact with infected individuals, Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe said yesterday. The National Assembly later passed a motion compelling the government to pick up these bills, arguing that it will be unfair to expect Kenyans to pay for themselves. So I'm happy that this is something that we've been looking at, and we have been looking at as one of the things that is hindering even more Kenyans to come out and go have voluntary testing. We've seen that center that was placed at Inis, the other one in Kawangware, the other one in Mombasa. People want to go, but they were afraid. They're looking at the bill. At the end of the day, they're unable to foot that bill. So now the government are coming out and saying that it will cater for the cost of the people who will come out and go for testing through contact tracing. Not the people who have been caught breaking the curfew. That is a totally different matter. But the people who are in quarantine through contact tracing, these people, the government will be footing this bill. So I think this is good news for Kenyans and good news for Kenya, and of course the Ministry of Health there, because now they will be able to get more Kenyans to come out. This will be encouraging to more Kenyans who otherwise were afraid and were staying away because of afraid to foot that bill that will come at the end of their quarantine time and the end of them seeking for treatment. So that should be lauded, and that is a very good move by the government of Kenya. And so now I expect to see more Kenyans coming out and going out and getting tested, and so that you're able to get the numbers and get all the people who might have contracted this illness from the community, because right now it is in the community. So this will go a long way into aiding the fight against COVID-19 in Kenya. And Doctor, I beg to leave you now. I'll come back later.
No, you don't. We have. I said at exactly 30:30.
Yes.
We shall let you go.
We are way past.
It's 6 minutes.
Yes.
6 minutes past. I let you go with. I begin again at top of the hour, 11 o'clock. What is the topic again, Miriam?
Yes.
The
topic that we are having right now is the breaking of a nation, our darker forces working against redemption, and then under that there's unity of purpose, there's redemption, there's corruption, there's conflict, disintegration, and the solutions. A lot there, Doctor, that we really need to look at in terms of where we are right now as a country, and these dynamics we see about the politics that are coming into play right now.
Yeah, but the topic at 11. It is different.
The topic at 11.
My opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is my opinion at 11, where we shall look at.
Is Kenya out of the woods or still in the deeper woods?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to loud at 11 at the top of the hour. Mm-hmm. Is Kenya in the woods or out of the woods? How far are we in the woods? How far can we go on the woods? Miriam, you join me at 11:30. 1 good hour for you to relax so that we can proceed with the news of Africa when you find me, when I have hammered you halfway on the journey to Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you for that time break. Our topic coming up next is opinion. My opinion. Is Kenya out of the woods or still in deeper woods? It's a very good question. Students of political science and the students of following our chief, get your pen, your pad. You are not in the class. These are the lessons some lecturers here, you find them talking every day. This is free now. I'm here.
We shall be teaching lessons. Are we? Let's get a tick, 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 tick. Are we there? Are we using masks properly? Are we washing our hands? Are we social distancing? Are we eating on the same plate like Eddie Majengo? Those photographs are going to come here. Thank you very much. Good morning, Africa. Good morning. And John Clark says, your friend John Clark will never lack something to say. He said, good morning, Punchline, Africa. I'm angered on the government on demolishing some homes without showing the victims a place to go. What do you take on that? That is good question, John Clark. I'm going to take on you at 11 o'clock. Takuonesha. Yes. Takuonesha. Today I'm charged. Bring it on. My opinion at 11 o'clock. Thank you very much, Miriam. We take a breaker. We come back at 11 East African Standard Time, which is in West Africa, 10 o'clock. With my conjunction in SSB, Miriam will bring, for those viewers on Africa, Miriam will bring news from Amazonia, Cameroon, Biafra, Egypt, Somalia, Mogadishu. Today, a nice day, the afternoon diplomatic leaks at 8 p.m. The money ring that supports Al-Shabaab. Thank you. We shall be hammering it tonight. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless Africa. Ciao.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.